What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know. Morons.
And welcome to Morons Make Sense. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Mr. Superman, Mexican Superman, Augusto Peñalosa.
Wow, you really butchered that one, man. You really butchered that one. Clearly, you did not have an intro set up for me, but
nothing,
it's okay. I'll allow it.
I usually just say your name, but since you have the Superman.
El Superman.
El Superman.
El Superman.
Yes.
El Superman. Es Superman.
And also Mr. Arkham, the real Superman, Arturo.
Ooh, thank you.
Whoa, what the fuck? I'm the one in the actual outfit. How is he the real Superman? I caught BS.
You're a poser. You're a poser.
I'm out.
People have spoken.
You're not even wearing any pants.
No, I actually don't wear pants when I wear this. It makes it easier to use the restroom while I'm in the sky.
Oh.
I just go. Go. If I need to use the restroom, I just let it rip and just it's everywhere.
Well, there's
everywhere.
Okay, let's get right into it because I want this to be a 15-minute episode and not a 50-minute episode like the other one was.
Real quick, if we may address, so I just wanted to say real quick that we are discussing the new batch of DC movies, the new chapter. We have an episode coming out after this, technically, which captures our thoughts on where everything we thought was going and our overall thoughts, which is going to be very different. It's kind of weird that's coming out after, but it is the way it is. Things worked out. So we're going to talk not so much about that, but rather this exact thing that's happening now. Yes.
We have our canceling of the DCEU episode coming up, and this is about the new stuff.
The rebirth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rebirth. I like that reference.
Soft the reboot or whatever the heck it is. But anyways, let's list out the things that they announced. They announced 5 movies and 5 TV shows. The movies are Superman Legacy.
But go in order of the actual release slate.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, Superman.
No, you're choosing movies first. That's not the release slate.
Oh my God. Okay. So the TV shows go. I have them by TV show and movies.
Here's the thing. Okay, so I think first off, if people aren't aware, it's the fact that this is now everything's connected now. Going forward, it's movies, it's shows, it's animated series.
Yes,
it's all these actors and are going to be reprising the voices in every medium. And the fact that this universe is starting off, I mean, we'll get into it, but that's why I think it's really important to go in release order because that's how this new.
Do you have it in release developed. Order then?
I do actually.
Go for it, Arturo. You do it.
Way to go, Arturo, being prepared. The real host of Morons Mince.
I wrote down notes as I was watching this.
You're
I
fired.
did. I wrote down notes.
Hey, man. I'm just saying.
Thank you, Uble.
He's the real Superman. He might as well be the real host.
So the first thing, as was mentioned, was the consistency and the fact that these 4 films that are coming up this year are staying still the same. However, it is confirmed now that The Flash is resetting.
It's going to be the reboot. Yeah.
So the films right after this. I mean, everyone had an idea, even back in the DCEU days, that this was going to somehow restart things to kind of start fresh. But this is now officially happening.
Yeah. That's how it happens in the comic books, by the way.
Well, it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they reboot for the
the comic book Flashpoint. So that's largely what the film's going to borrow from, which should be interesting. And
so wait, did we start already? Is that the first one coming out?
No.
So
we still have Shazam, which happens, and then The Flash, which these 2 look to be the very last directly linked to the DCEU. Because after this, it's Blue Beetle, which starts fresh, and with Aquaman, which I feel are 2 films that aren't affecting James' plans on the going in contrary of them, and that's why they're being released the way they are. But they're not necessarily part of the first chapter. They're more of a prologue because it's not affecting the bigger universe. Is the way I took it.
Not confusing at all. Go for it. All
right. And this new chapter, it was just called Gods and Monsters, by the way, which is really interesting note. Yeah. But the first thing is actually an animated series. The very first thing that comes out is Creature Commandos. And that is a team full of supernatural creatures. And James Gunn is writing it himself, wrote all the episodes. So it's really interesting to me that they're starting that way. But again, we're going to come down and explain more as we go. But then it's Waller, starring Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
Viola Davis reprising her role, interacting with characters from Peacemaker. And then we have the start of the films, which is Superman Legacy, which will not be featuring Henry Cavill, but it does have a release date, which I thought was
going to be a new Superman, Mexican 2025.
Superman. I mean, it might be a Mexican Superman.
It's me. Yep. This is the way we're bringing it to the world.
The Superman. I mean, thank you, Uble. I appreciate you reprising your role from the animated series Gods and Monsters, because Superman was Mexican in that.
Was Mexican. CA.
Nice.
Yeah. It was his ship instead landed I forget where, but he was raised by migrant workers, farmers.
Instead of Kal-El, was his name El Cal?
No, I don't know. I forgot his Superman, like his actual Carlos El.
Carlos El.
Carlos El.
Carlos El. Yeah.
So we have Superman Legacy. Then we have
was his suit green and?
God damn it! You were the one who just wanted to race through these. And
oh no, El Kryptonite. Oh no.
No.
That's my
okay, go for Arturo. After Superman Legacy.
La Migra. Okay.
No mames. Stay away. Okay, go on.
Well, he's an alien now, doubled.
That works either way. Yeah.
He's a double alien. That's two negatives make a positive though. Okay.
Cancels out. Yeah, cancels out.
Speaking of aliens, the next thing is Lanterns, which is a TV show, presumably on HBO Max, just like everything else is probably set to be. And it's starring both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, so that's going to be really interesting. Nice. I'm really happy about it.
It's supposed to be like a detective thing.
I really like the idea. Very
intergalactic detective
as it
thing.
Should be. The Green Lantern Corps are going to embrace that, which I'm really excited about. The next one is the thing that probably shocked me the most is the Authority. That is a superhero team that's actually part of the Wildstorm comics that later got the DC got to own, and it was a separate imprint for a while. And then after one of the reboots, they integrated that continuity into DC.
That was the New 52, right?
That was New 52 when that happened. And I guess for lack of a more explanation, it's The Boys meets Justice League.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's uber violent. It's more real. It's grounded. It's people, it's superpower people having problems with the way the world is. But they don't very much a play on Justice League. So.
But they don't care.
They don't care about what they have to do to get there, right?
There's a lot more. That's a lot more darker, more adult themed, and it's interesting that it is kind of, I feel, a timely response to The Boys, because that's been universally accepted and praised. So I'm glad that they're actually introducing more variety to that in terms of that. So I'm really intrigued.
I'm sure that helped. I'm sure The Boys helped kind of make this a sell. And you said this is a TV show because. You're speeding through them.
No,
really
The
fast.
Authority is going to be a film. That's
a film. One. The next one is a show. That's Paradise Lost, based on Paradise Island, Themyscira, the island of Wonder Woman, which is going to be very Game of Thrones.
But it's not going to be Wonder Woman. It's just the
before
island.
She was born.
Well, I mean, she might be in it. Wonder Woman 3 was canceled, but everything reportedly is that Gal Gadot is still going to be on board somehow. And we'll find out more when The Flash happens and who gets kept.
What I read is that show's supposed to be before Wonder Woman is born, and it's supposed to be about the power struggle of how the Amazons came about and whatnot.
Okay, I'm all for it. Yeah,
I think
it's a chance to bring out more mythology. I mean, it's great backstory to tell. So the next thing is a film, The Brave and the Bold. We're going to get Batman with his son, Damian Wayne, a.k.a. Robin number 4.
I told you that they'll make him a father.
What do you mean?
I talked about this in the episode that's coming out.
That's true. That was referenced. Well, it's just that Sam really likes Batman on his own. He doesn't like Robins. He doesn't like
and then he
the bigger Justice League and everything.
Heart and all this crap.
Well,
Bat family. It's the
real
Bat
quick.
family.
This does lead to the inclusion of the Bat family in the film, so that'll be interesting to see.
Sure.
And the coolest thing, real quick, about what James going to announce about this, we can get more.
Oh no!
Into it is the fact that everything else that's happening simultaneously, like Batman, Todd Phillips' Joker, is that those are going to specifically named Elseworlds, and they're going to be happening in their own corners.
That's what I'm most excited about. That's what I'm most
Same.
excited about, because honestly, this whole continuity universe thing, I'm not as excited about. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's see.
Yeah.
It still seems way too confusing, too many things happening and all this stuff. But I'm glad that they didn't mess with Matt Reeves' Batman, because that's what I'm looking forward to, and I'm glad that Joker, Todd Phillips' Joker 2, is gonna be untouched as well.
Yeah.
So and I can't wait for those.
Do you think, and feel free to save this question for the end, but do you think that James Gunn will ever try to find a way to incorporate Matt Reeves' Batman and Joaquin Phoenix into this universe? Further down the line, Elseworlds are going to collide with these worlds.
Maybe they'll do some multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Eventually. I don't think anywhere near,
super big crossover.
These films are supposed to, this chapter is supposed to take place over the next 8 to 10 years, if I remember correctly. And this is only part of the first chapter. So my guess is that does happen. It wouldn't be until a decade from now, where they have laid down the groundwork. It is a lot more acceptable. All right, fuck it, throw them in together. Because by then they've had their own chance to shine in their own respective universes.
How old will Joaquin Phoenix be by then? He's 50 already.
No, he's I don't know.
He's gonna be in his 60s by then.
They'll do mocap. They'll do a mocap and then just digitally enhance his features.
Young him down.
Okay. Yeah, they could. The next thing is Booster Gold, which is it's going to be a TV show, and then Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. It's going to be a film, and it's going to end so far with Swamp Thing, which I was very intrigued by because I love that.
Wow,
that one I'm interested in because there hasn't been one since what was it, 80s or 90s when they
Toxic Avenger.
That's not Toxic Avenger.
Did you not hear of the TV series?
No, I never seen.
There was a TV series.
Yeah, there was a TV series on DC Universe, which was the short-lived streaming service dedicated to DC original properties, including Doom Patrol, Titans. The Harley Quinn animated series. Ever since then, though, everything moved to HBO Max. And you can read DC Comics on the too. Back in the day, I gave Uble my login. I got it at Comic-Con. I was there day one. It was so awesome. Everything DC was in one little place. Shows, movies, they had such a huge library. The comics. It was really, really great for when it lasted. And I remember being there on the ground floor at Comic-Con and getting 50% off the subscription fee.
Nice.
T-shirt.
I remember that. Yeah.
So good times. But yeah, that is the current slate. The chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. What do you guys think? What do you guys want to jump in on that we already haven't kind of started talking about?
I'm like I said, I'm not that crazy about the whole continuity universe starting all over thing, but I am a little excited in the fact that it seems that they are going to be a little bit more adult, with Swamp Thing being, from what I read, more about the horror elements of that. So that might be an R-rated.
Especially after agreed, and especially after this, because the show is basically rated R. It was very mature, and that was handled so incredibly well. And I really love to see the chance of seeing Swamp Thing again and handled as beautifully as they did on that show.
Yeah.
Do they say anything about the rating of these movies? This one's R. This one's not yet.
The only one they kind of hinted at being more adult was the Swamp Thing one and the Authority one, but I don't know if they're gonna go R on that.
They have to.
They probably.
They. I feel like they're going to for multiple reasons. James Gunn has both flexed his skill set in PG-13 and R, and has had both of those situations be financially lucrative. And I feel with him being at the core of, running this game. So again, my thoughts on the DCU separate, but just on this, what's going on, I'm actually very cautiously optimistic. I really like the idea of having some well-known figures at the same time as having lesser-known characters. We're not just starting with the Justice League. And I feel we're going to get a huge change in ratings based on the project. But because James Gunn has his hand in everything, it's going to still feel very connected and have a similar tone. Not necessarily tone, but it's going to feel like the DNA, and it all belongs in the same world, even though we're going to get some stuff that's more brutal and some that stuff that necessarily isn't.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good at that. Sorry, Sam, you were going to say something.
No, I already talked, but if you're not going to say anything,
I was just going to give my overall expectation. So I personally am all for everything James Gunn has done in the past, 10, 15 years. I'm a big fan of his Guardians movies. and I'm a big fan of the stuff that he's done for DC. I love the Suicide Squad, the one he did, and I loved Peacemaker. Those two are great shows, and I feel like they find a really good balance. More so Peacemaker, but it finds a good balance of the comedic PG-13, lighthearted, approach, but they also kind of get pretty violent at times and things, and they don't do it just for the sake of being violent, or maybe they do. But
some of the violence is made
sense.
to be comedic.
Yeah, that's another thing. So, and I'm more excited at the fact that, like Arturo, you said, this is a lot of lesser known characters, and that's where James Gunn shines the most. Is I think even he said it himself. Is he prefers taking characters that are lesser known because now he can kind of make a few changes and tweaks that the fans won't, burn down the studios over. Like if he got a Batman movie and he decided, like, he would have to stick to the elements that are universally known as Batman. He wouldn't be able to do his thing to it. Whereas with these, I have no idea. Like 90% of these things coming out, I don't know anything about them.
Oh,
so,
I feel like you know way more. Don't.
I mean, I know, but see,
You're
I don't know authority. And I know, I know of them. I know Booster Gold, and I know Blue Beetle, and I know them, but I don't know a lot about their backgrounds.
Stories are not as well known.
Yeah, a majority of the people are on that same boat where it's like, oh yeah, I remember I read that one comic where he was in it, but I never went and read.
Well, I'm just saying you're pretty knowledgeable.
Stuff. Thank you.
No, we're all morons here.
It's a facade. Yeah, it's a facade. You
look at this guy.
Yeah,
he's wearing a fake Superman outfit.
This isn't even mine. I stole it from some guy that was outside trick or treating. Yeah. So I only pretend to be a hardcore DC fan, but I just know. I know a lot of the basics and a medium amount of the medium stuff, and then the lesser known stuff. I Swamp Thing. I don't know. Is he like a thing that comes from the swamp? I don't know.
You know?
I'm assuming so. But overall, I'm excited for this, man. I have faith in it and fucking bring it. And all the shows are coming to HBO Max, right? It's not gonna be like a different. Okay,
no, HBO Max, yeah.
And that's actually what I'm most excited about is the fact that when when Marvel did their thing and DC did their thing, like after the Dark Knight trilogy. We slowly started getting the Green Arrow or the Arrow series and a couple other things. And I was like, this is the chance where DC can do something entirely different than Marvel's doing. Marvel just has their movies. Like this is the chance for DC to connect their shows. And at the very, very beginning, the Flash and Arrow could have both been introduced to the DCEU and it would have worked seamlessly. And that was something I was always rooting for. And ultimately it never happened and everything shit hit the fan everywhere for everything. So the fact that now
all at once,
everything, all at
everywhere,
once,
all at once,
everywhere, all at once.
It's like
all the time,
from every corner, every orifice,
everything.
Like as much as it does sadden me that this means Titans and Doom Patrol are being concluded,
canceled.
Yeah, I heard about that not too long ago. And now it makes complete sense. I'm like, fuck, because I really do love those shows. I really, really do, especially Doom Patrol. Man, it's so unique. Brendan Fraser, Matt Bomer. April Bowlby, like Diane Guerrero. Anywho,
I wanted to go for it. No, go for it.
I was just gonna say the fact that now everything is connected. It's really exciting to see how this is gonna work and seeing that connective tissue and reprising the roles. And because I feel this is also gonna get a big attention to animated stuff, which isn't always acknowledged or or the general public doesn't care for. And sometimes we get really, really great stories through animation. And I think this is a chance to put a bigger spotlight on that because not everyone has seen like the Dark Knight Returns, part 1 and part 2, and it's my god, it's so fucking good. So good. Flashpoint, Paradox, Batman under the Red Hood. Like there's just so much out there, so I feel like this is going to create a good opportunity for that. And
I hope so. I hope so.
Cheers.
My only worry, and I'll end my thoughts on this one, is there's gonna be multiple Batmans happening at once, and I feel like
you're saying you can't keep up.
No, it's not that I can't keep up. It's just that there's going to be inevitable comparison where you have Pattinson,
dude, that's always happened. And here's the thing that's still happening now with iterations that have existed in the years past. People still are talking about Henry Cavill versus Christopher Reeve. Like that is one of my annoyances for what that means in the future, that people are going to be like, oh, like Superman Legacy was so much better than Man of Steel. I'm like, oh, you might be just jumping on the bandwagon. But these comparisons have always existed. and they're still as rampant as they always were. And it's just, I get it, but it's happening now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, those comparisons between different generational Batmans, where you're gonna have two Batmans happening at the same time.
Yeah, I can see how that can be.
Where you have Pattinson's Batman, where the movie's gonna come out in 2025, and I think Brave.
Yeah, they just got a release date. Release date, right?
October 2025 or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So I don't know when they're planning to. In 2 years.
Like in 2 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. He's still writing the script.
Yeah, like 2 years. Hey, let me ask you guys real quick. Are there any things that you guys would have wanted to have been included in this? Real fast, because that can be an hour question. So, like, were you hoping to see a Martian Manhunter? Were you hoping to see a Green Arrow property coming out? Or maybe, I don't know, something else?
My only hope was that Matt Reeves' Batman and Joker were going to be okay, and they weren't going to mess with that or try to bring it into the universe like we talked about in the episode which will air on Thursday. I like Batman when he's by himself. So I'm like, the whole new DCU, for me, I'm just going to wait to see how it goes. I'm a little like worried because I don't know if it might work, but whatever.
Your expectations were real low, so you were not disappointed. Basically, all you wanted was, don't fuck with my Matt Reeves Batman, don't fuck with my Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and we're good. Yeah, and they came through. They came through. How about you, Arturo? Yeah.
I didn't have any expectations, as you will. Everyone will find out more on the episode on Thursday. I was left very brokenhearted, I guess, over the DCEU and the way it very quickly ending when it was finally connecting and making sense, and general audiences were a lot more receptive. I am happy to hear. I mean, I feel at least that maybe the version of the Flash, because James Gunn said he loved the Flash, he's already seen it apparently.
Yeah, he said it was one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen, according to him. Right?
What?
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Has he seen Airbud? I don't understand how you can say
is that a superhero
one of the best ones.
I guess you can argue it is, and the Airbud is the biggest superhero of all time.
It is,
but so that at least gives me, because it is, I mean, there's been different iterations of it. There are supposed to be these cameos from like everyone in there. So at least hearing that it's kind of like going to be this like last hurrah for the DCEU and having these characters come back, that does fill me with, at least there's like a nice closing chapter to it all. In terms of like anything that I was expecting in particular, I don't see why Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck can't come back. It's fine. I've made my peace with it. I've made my peace with it. Sam, I've made my peace with it.
No, Henry Cavill. I read that Henry Cavill might have a chance, but it's probably not going to happen.
It's going to be a younger Superman, and Henry Cavill has already talked with him. He's already announced it. It's in the past, unfortunately. No, I don't think I had any expectations in this. I think honestly, I was expecting something to piss me off. But it didn't. I'm cautiously optimistic for the overwhelming majority. I have really enjoyed everything that James Gunn has done within the last couple of years. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and my rage has mellowed because I feel like this has been a very cathartic outlet for that. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's been helpful for my mental sanity.
One last thing real quick. The Batman movie. The Batman movie is the most interesting to me as well because I love Batman. But like you said, I read that they're gonna have the whole Bat family, because you're gonna have Damian, which is I think is gonna be Robin, not Dick Grayson, not any of the other ones.
Not Tim Drake.
So
that means Dick Grayson is already Nightwing.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to introduce that with because there's so many stories there that's not going to be told, and you're basically going to be jump into this world where you have Nightwing and you have Batgirl and you have Bruce Wayne has a son.
Most people already know that
with Talia.
I agree. I mean, there's.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, but anyway.
I feel like these are more that it's become more of accepted facts, and not every origin story needs to be told at the very beginning.
Who the hell knows that Bruce Wayne has a dad besides like people who have followed the comic books? Like
Bruce Wayne has a dad? Yes.
I'm sorry, that Bruce Wayne has
Everyone knows that, Sam. I saw him die 1,000 times.
I don't think there's anyone that thinks he was immaculately conceived. I think they know he has a father.
I'm pretty sure Batman is Jesus.
Yeah.
I think
not many
gonna
people
find a way
know
to
that
make it
Bruce
work.
Wayne has a son. You know, that's
Yeah.
really late
Well,
in the
which is
Batman
why
mythos.
which is why this movie is going to be focused on him, the lesser known of the Robins, and the lesser known. Everyone knows Dick Grayson was Robin and now he's Nightwing. Everyone knows Barbara Gordon was Batgirl. Everyone knows, well, majority of people know Jason Todd and his story, but nobody really knows about Damian and his origins and how he came to be.
Well, Damien's also
this
been Robin
movie
for like the past 10 years at least.
he has,
And that's the
for
thing
the
too.
mainstream,
Like
for the non-comic book readers.
Well, to
Yeah, the
piggyback
non-comic
off of
readers
that
don't know.
is the fact that we're now
Yeah.
getting a new iteration that we haven't seen just yet. That's what I'm most actually looking forward to. Is we don't necessarily need to start at ground zero every single time, and we have that with Matt Reeves' Batman. You know, and that's very rich and very exciting. I fucking love that Batman, as you guys know. And if audience members, you saw our top 10 of 2023 or 2022, you know as well. Thank you. We're now getting a new incarnation of that, and as other movies like Spider-Man: Homecoming have shown us, you don't necessarily need to start at the beginning. You know, my personal issues with that movie set aside, but you can still create a story without having the origin bogged down.
Yeah.
We'll see. This is a lot of story.
I'm excited.
This is a lot of story for that one Batman movie, but we'll see. We'll end it here, and we'll end it here because we're
look
definitely
at
over
us
the 15
staying
minutes.
close. What?
Well, how long has it been? Half an hour?
Barely.
We're close. We're better than last time. We're getting
What
better.
time is it? Or how long has it been?
It doesn't tell me how much time has been, but
I looked at my watch. I'm pretty sure we're like at 16 minutes right now, man.
Really?
I forgot to mention something that I am really curious about, though, is whether or not Supergirl will be the Supergirl that's featured in the Flash movie.
Who knows? We'll find out.
Well, it's the first time we're getting a Latina Supergirl, so like that'll be really interesting.
She's gonna be Latina.
Yeah, Sasha Calles. I think she's Argentinian.
Carmela Supergirl is her gonna be a name. She's from Guadalajara. Yeah.
Es tu prima,
Carlos
¿no?
Es tu prima.
Mi prima. Yeah.
¿Qué estabas
Por parte
haciendo?
de mi papá. Yeah. But anyway, a very good question. We'll find out in future episodes to come.
Until next time, we made a lot of sense, morons.
What does everyone else think?
Yeah, what do you let us know? Please like and subscribe and all that stuff, and ask yourself more questions. Okay, good night.
Adios.
Oh wait, that.